Hello there, it's Steve-O here from the Elite FPL podcast, and you are joining me for a live experimental Steve-O solo podcast. And the reason why it's an experiment is because I stated on the advert that I've discovered something that will make the interaction and the viewership for this particular solo pods that I do a bit more of an enjoyable experience. So rather than staring at me on screen, I'm able to do something now which will have the interaction on the screen instead, so to speak. So as the viewers of this podcast know, I use my PlayStation to look at all the leagues, teams, statistics, everything when I do my solo pod. But as a lot of people feed back to myself, Dan and Jason, well, me basically, but point being is that you tell me that it'd be better to have a interface on the screen. And as I stated in the advert for this, I don't own a laptop. I purely do this off my mobile phone, and I fully appreciate that even me as a viewer of podcasts, specifically FPL ones, you do want something on screen to look at. But when I do my solo ones, as I keep alliterating, and when Dan did his one the other day, it is specifically for the hardcore elite FPL audience that watch us and are going along the journey experiencing the mini league heartache that we go through, or in Jason's case, the highs of being top, not just top of the overall ranks, but top in our mini league and everything. He's just dominating at the moment. Now, you're all wondering, hold on a minute, Steve-O, you advertised this is an experimental pod. You said something will be different. There's this whole cloak and dagger secrecy behind everything. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to switch my camera round, which will hopefully reveal this on screen. Ta-da! Now then, anybody that is watching this live, I would like to see some feedback on whether you can see this screen. I'm assuming you can. I've done a few experiments and I'd like to think that you can see the screen in front of you at the moment. Now, at the moment, that's my team and points as it stands right now. And a bit like Davey FPL, this solo podcast from now on, I will probably be doing it this way, so you can actually go through exactly what I'm looking at on the screen. So I'm just seeing now FPL Queen, she's joined me live for now, that everything's fine. Now, like I said, this is just pure experimentation at the moment. I'm hoping my sound comes through okay. But the reasoning why I'm doing this podcast is because this double game week has been absolutely appalling. This has been an absolute disaster. We heard the news, obviously, of Aguero. He is not featuring. He's out injured. Rashford didn't play last night. And there is a lot of points on the benches of teams with single game week players, for example, like me. So we'll just briefly look at my team at the moment. So I'm on a whopping 59 points. Absolutely rubbish. I did put a comment on the Fantasy Football Scout forum site that, as Let's Talk FPL Andy made the point, this double game week is all going to be about hindsight and people going, oh, I knew I should have picked Bernardo Silva. I knew I should have picked Van Aanholt. No, you didn't. Stop speaking rubbish. Everybody was going to go for Schlupp. Everybody was going to go for, of the silver players, of the silvered players, it was David of all. Now, FPL's just Queens just made a point. Yep, there we are, done. Oh, wait a minute. Let's just scroll up a bit. Hopefully that will come up. Yeah, there we are, done. That's my team at the moment. So, FPL Queen, just to let anybody know that's watching this on a replay, basically has just suggested that they can't see my team at the moment. I was going to scroll down. You kind of kind of destroyed what I was kind of doing, but it doesn't matter. I'll continue this. But yeah, this game has been all about hindsight, and a lot of people were, including Jason, Dan, they were talking about 100+ scores this game week, 120 points, and don't get me wrong, there's obvious reasons for it. Players like Aguero, we assumed would be getting an incredible score this game week, and he started off so well against Fulham, a goal and an assist. Couldn't have started off better. Sterling, yeah, okay, fair enough. It's one of those where, yes, he did nothing in the Fulham game, and it's a bit of a concern that he may not start against Cardiff this evening, but who knows? But yeah, I just want to go through, basically, as this experiment continues, I want to go through the differentials of my mini-league rivals, and more importantly, we'll look at the Elite FPL standings at the moment, and we can find out what the circumstances are regarding differentials and what we're going to be going into this evening. Now, regarding this evening, myself and Jason potentially, please do not quote me on this, but potentially could be doing a live stream reaction after the games finish. So we're talking 10 o'clock at night UK time. Now that's a very, very late podcast, and the only reasoning why it would be at 10 o'clock at night is because I'm unavailable until that time of night, simply put. And this evening there are 3 games on. They concern a lot of players, and to be honest, there's quite a lot of differentials going on. So I have got tonight, as you can see on the screen at the moment, I've got David Luiz, Schlupp, Hudson-Odoi. Now Hudson-Odoi is interesting because there's a lot of talk that he may actually start tonight. Now I joked with Jason on the preview podcast that wouldn't it be funny if Hudson-Odoi does exactly what happened in that Liverpool game where Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson were just basically assisting each other and getting basically exactly the same points. I just have this gut feeling that's exactly what's going to happen this evening. Hudson-Odoi will be assisting Higuain, for an example. But I don't know why, there's something in me that says Giroud may start tonight. I've got no inside knowledge, why would I? But I just have this feeling that Giroud may start tonight. But yeah, there's a lot of talk that Hudson-Odoi may start tonight. Of course, everybody's got Hazard, Sterling. Aguero isn't going to be playing tonight, so he will not be playing. So my only players tonight are going to be Sterling, Hazard, Hudson-Odoi, David Luiz, Schlupp. Now last night we had the match between Wolves versus United and Watford versus Fulham. So quickly scroll down to here. Last night, 4-1. I mean, we'll find out in a minute, but if you didn't know, Jason had, this is hilarious, he had Kika Firmino on the bench. And I don't know if anybody remembered, but I did mention the preview podcast that, yeah, fair enough, you're playing, what's his face, Trent Alexander-Arnold ahead of Kika Firmino because you believe that Trent Alexander-Arnold was going to score more points probably than Kika Firmino. Well, we all know what happened there. So he didn't get anything from Kika Firmino at all, which is good for me because he's a major differential. And then obviously, as you can see, Decorah, Hughes, Deeney, Andre Gray with 2 assists, Hughes with an assist. And of course, Dan mentioning Ryan Babel there, getting a goal. You know, a player that's, to be fair, do you know what? I'm going to quickly, see, this is the point now. You can see exactly what I'm looking at rather than looking at my face. You can actually now follow what I'm exactly doing here. So I'm going to go to the transfers and I'm going to look up Ryan Babel. And of course, this is when the game kind of, so all players, scroll down to Ryan Babel and we'll find out exactly what he's done this season. Because in my opinion, I believe he's done pretty well at the moment. I can't be quoted on this, but I mean, look at that. Even Tom Kearney, I mean, I'll quickly just move the camera over to here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so this season, since he joined in January, 3 goals, 3 assists, and he got two assists versus Brighton, a goal away at West Ham, a goal at home to Liverpool, and a goal away at Watford. So yeah, he's done, for a Fulham team, I have to say that fair play. He's done really well. For Fulham, this is. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute he's a must buy or anything, but for Fulham, he's done really, really well. So on to the United game last night, and of course, I was praying that Lindelof wouldn't start, but I really did have this gut feeling that he would, to be honest with you. And of course, we all know what happened. He started and he conceded 2 goals. He got a whopping 1 point. Now, I had Robertson on the bench as my first sub to come on. That's why I needed him. But again, we all, well, I did anyway. Not in a negative way, but I was just surprised that Jason brought in Jota. He got him a goal. Jimenez, he was the one that assisted him. He got 3 bonus points. And again, mine and Jason differentials, they just basically cancelled each other out. Now, we'll quickly move on to Jason's team here. And surprise, surprise, he is on exactly the same points as me. But remember, Jason took a 20-point hit. So he's actually on 39 points. But obviously that all gets deducted after the first game week finishes. So this is Jason's team tonight, and we can see his differentials here on me, and there's quite a lot. He's got 5 differentials on me tonight. It's Kepa, Laporte, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and Higuain. But in total, he's got 7 players playing full stop. So yeah, I'm a bit concerned about Higuain against Brighton, but as I stated, I have this feeling that Giroud may start tonight. If we look down here though, look at the subs bench. Pereira, 8 points. Kika Firmino, 9 points. So what's that? 17 points on the bench sat there. Oh God. And again, with hindsight, Jason didn't even need to make a 20-point hit. It is, yeah, gutting for him. It's good news for me, but it is just gutting for him, really. As you can see there, Jota getting in there. But yeah, he's on 59 points, just like me. And if I quickly show you the cash mini league that myself and Jason are in, to be honest with you, I'm a bit more concerned about Ben Towler, that's 3rd. So, as you can see here, Ben Towler just here, he's 3rd. We'll have a look at his team in a minute. 77 points at the moment. He's on 1,913 points. Yes, there's still a significant gap between myself and Ben, but have a look at Ben's team. Ben's team has got 5 differentials, but they're worrying ones. They are worrying ones. Now, he played his triple captain on Aguero. That's paid off, although admittedly he's not playing tonight, but it paid off. But it's his differentials that scare me. Harry Kane. I'm personally predicting he's going to score a brace tonight. I really do fear that Harry Kane's going to score a brace tonight. There he is, Higuain. Had Jota last night playing. David Silva has a big differential, and again at home to Cardiff. Aaron Wan-Bissaka on me. Had Kolasinac on Monday evening. Didn't even mention Monday evening, did we? Arsenal winning 2-0. Quick scroll down to this. Aaron Ramsey in the goals. Of course, this was almost a rehearsal for the blank game week coming up. Well, basically this Friday it starts. So Aaron Ramsey, Lacazette, Aubameyang coming off the bench with an assist there. But yeah, Kolasinac, of course, always seems to get points at home. So certainly somebody that I'm looking at for my wildcard team, Kolasinac. They got some lovely fixtures. It's just their away form is pretty poor at the moment. So yeah, Ben Towler, I think he's going to catch up with me significantly tonight, especially with the differentials in Kane, David Silva and Higuain. Yeah, 77 points at the moment, as you can see. And then moving on to Darren Monday. He's had a terrible game week. Absolutely shocking. 35 points. He played his wild card. Oh, Darren, I mean, I joked about it the other day, but Darren, he played his wild card. He's got 3 differentials on me in Tompkins, Son and Higuain, but he's got Sterling as captain. That could pay off. I can't really see much in the chat, but Vince Chapman has just asked who said Aguero's ruled out. Vince, this news broke about 2 days ago. This was all over Twitter, all over social media, all over the world basically. Yeah, he ain't playing tonight. He will not be playing whatsoever. And as someone's just mentioned there, if I quickly click on the chat link just there, which of course, yeah, Pep Guardiola. So Notorious Nerd and FPL Queen addressing that. Yeah. Vince, yeah, he's been ruled out. If you didn't know that, I don't know where you've been sleeping under a rock. Have you had a really bad game week or something? But yeah, he's been ruled out, I'm afraid. So moving on to Darren's team. He's got 3 differentials on me, like I mentioned. Son's another one that concerns me, but his form of late has been absolutely atrocious. Let's have a quick scan at his form as of late. And yeah, he has been absolutely woeful. You know, considering how the form he was in when Kane was off. Just impeccable. I mean, as you can see here, a 13-point haul there, 11-point haul, 6-point haul, and then did nothing for 5 game weeks. So yeah, he's not in great form at the moment, but Harry Kane is. So Harry Kane's the one that concerns me regarding Tottenham assets. So yeah, Darren, but look at Darren's bench. Jimenez, whopping 12 points. I mean, that there's a bit concerning for me. Deulofeu at home to Fulham, they scored 4 goals. And, I mean, admittedly, I haven't actually seen what he did last night. So, how many minutes did Deulofeu play? Oh, he only played 45 minutes. Okay, fair enough. He only played 45 minutes. So, maybe he was subbed off. I'm not quite sure on that. But that's a bit concerning regarding their double game week coming up. But, yeah, Jimenez there. But, yeah, an absolutely terrible game week. Now, for my co-host, Dan. So, Dan, as we all know, he played his free hit chip. And he seemed to have 10th spot locked in. But his rival, Dale Bellamy, has overtaken him. We'll just quickly look at Dan's team at the moment. He played a free hit chip. He's only got 48 points. 48 points. Oh. But tonight he's got Kepa playing. David Luiz, Schlupp, Tompkins, Sterling captain. There we are. And I've just seen someone mention that Sterling's home record is excellent. Yes, it is. So you would think that if he starts, he's going to get, I would think, a double-digit haul if Sterling starts. Maybe, dare I say, a hat-trick. And, of course, there's the David Silva differential there. No Aguero, and, of course, Rashford didn't play tonight. But, yeah, Dan must be pretty gutting. Because he said, if you remember, he said he wanted a minimum of 100 points from this game week. And, unfortunately, he's not even halfway there. And unfortunate there to Dan. What I will say to everybody that listens to this with interest and with their ears propped up is, as you know, myself, Dan and Jason, whenever we do our preview, we always predict the scores. And we just keep a record, well I do, of how everything's going. And as I always state, there's always one of us that does seem to do really well. So it's usually myself or Dan. Well, this week, this is insane. I've done really well. Out of the 12 fixtures so far, I have got 9 outcomes correct. The only 3 that I haven't got correct were West Ham versus Everton, I predicted 1-1. Burnley versus Wolves, I predicted 2-0 to Wolves. Obviously the reverse happened. And Brighton versus Southampton, I said 1-1, it ended 1-0. But the other 9 results, I got 3 bang on the money. And I got another 3 that were close enough to the scoreline. The results that I've got right were Fulham Man City. I predicted 3-0, it ended 2-0. Crystal Palace versus Huddersfield, I predicted 2-1, it ended 2-0. Leicester Bournemouth, 2-1, I predicted, it ended 2-0. Man United Watford, oh yeah, I got that bang on, that was 2-1. Cardiff Chelsea, I predicted 3-0, it ended 2-1. Liverpool Spurs, I got that bang on, I predicted 2-1. Arsenal Newcastle, Dan got this bang on. He said 2-0. He said 2-0 to Arsenal. I predicted 4-0. I thought it was going to be a lot more comfortable. I heard that game was absolutely terrible, but yeah, I predicted 4-0. Watford Fulham, I predicted 3-1. It ended 4-1. And of course, last night, ending with the Wolves United game, I got that bang on, being 2-1. So yeah, if you want to know what I predicted for tonight's games, just to maybe help you with maybe your team selection and thinking, oh, Steve-O seems to be doing really well with his predictions. Maybe I've got a bit of confidence going into tonight's games. Well, Chelsea-Brighton, I predicted 4-0. Man City versus Cardiff, I predicted 5-0. And Spurs versus Crystal Palace, 2-0. Dan went with 2-1 to Chelsea, 4-0 to Man City, and 1-1 between Spurs and Crystal Palace. Jason stuck his neck out on the line in his predictions for these three games. So Chelsea, Brighton, Spurs, Crystal Palace, he called 2-0 to the home team. The Man City game, he went 7-0. Let that sink in. Jason went 7-0. But again, once I state, listen to myself or Dan when it comes to predictions. Now then, I'll just quickly overview the Elite FPL podcast because, as ever, the people that are watching this, you're the hardcore fans of this particular video. You're the hardcore fans of this particular stream. And let's go and check on the standings in the Elite FPL Podcast League. By the way, hello, Jack Gleason. I did see you there. Michael Swedlin, hello there. Brett Mollison, good evening. Like I said, as Dan stated in his one, I'm doing this on a mobile phone. The questions or comments just spring up and then they just disappear. And to be honest with you, I'm specifically more looking at my team, but the screen, sorry, in front of me. But here we go. So, a regular contributor to the community and especially during the live chat, it's John Harris. He's doing so well this game week. So well. 86 points. Played his bench boost. He's 56th in the world. Okay? Just to get a bit of clarification there. 56th in the world. Let's look at his team. So, he's got Edison in goal tonight. You'd like to think that would be a clean sheet. David Luiz, Doherty playing last night. Van Aanholt, look at that. That major differential there already paid off. 15 points. Hudson-Odoi, like I said, he should be playing tonight. Now again, there is talk of him starting, but I'd like to think he's going to make a substitute appearance. My goodness, he's got to come on because if he doesn't, I've got Ryan Fraser coming on with a whopping 2 points. But yeah, Hudson-Odoi there. Pogba, of course, doing absolutely nothing over 2 game weeks. Sterling, Hazard. Jamie Vardy, of course, getting a goal. Aguero captain, so that's the big one. But again, we're all in the same boat, so I wouldn't be panicking about Jimenez. There he is, that whopping 12 points. And onto his bench boost. Not many double game week players, just the one in Matt Ryan. But yeah, let's sink that in. 86 points, and he's 56th in the world. Took a 16-point hit, mind, but doesn't matter. 56th in the world. Moving on to second place, Daniel Ash, again having another really good season. And in fact, just to let everybody know, Daniel Ash looks like he's going to win the March Manager of the Month award. And it looks like, oh, wow. So, for anybody that doesn't know, Jason decided to run a competition with you guys regarding a Manager of the Month award, and whoever wins, they win an exclusive Elite FPL mug. The person that won it last time was Chris Judge. This time round, it looks like Daniel Ash could win, but now looking at this live, there's only 25 points separating him in second place in John Hatcher. In fact, there's 20 points separating John Hatcher and Daniel Ash, but there's 25 points separating fourth. This is the March League, by the way, between Gareth Edser and Daniel Ash. So let's just have a quick look at their teams at the moment. So Gareth Edser, 82 points on a free hit, extraordinary. 10,000th in the world. Let's have a look at his team briefly. So we've got Kepa in goal, Azpilicueta, good lad, good differential there. Laporte, Schlupp, Sterling, of course Captain Aguero there. Martial, fair play to you. Hazard, Jimenez of course. Anybody who's bench of no one is bench whatsoever. So yeah, 82 points look like, so he could be challenging Daniel Ash depending on his differentials. Let's quickly look at this Mirza Krijas. Apologies for pronouncing your name incorrectly, but really interesting. Okay, so the reason why I've just gone silent there is, and it'd be interesting to hear from opinions on people. So FPL Boona has just made a very, what I think is a quite controversial and unusual comment in the chat, and I am going to read that out because I'm quite taken aback by it. It's nothing bad, but he says, Steve-O, I'm just going to put it out there that I much prefer seeing you whilst you speak about the other teams in your respective leagues. I don't see the value in seeing these visuals. Well, you're probably one of the very few people that thinks like that. I personally completely disagree with you. I obviously respect your opinion. We all have an entitlement to the opinion, but I'll just quickly give you the difference here. So we'll just quickly cut back to me. Hopefully this will work. Hello there. So this is what FPL Boone is on about. So every single solo podcast that I've personally done has been like this. And all you see is me discussing what is going on regarding the mini leagues, team selections, results, etc., etc. But as I keep stating, for the hardcore audience, that's okay, and it's just extra content for you guys. But I actually think that, as we'll find out now, doing this, switching the screen and actually looking at what I'm talking about is more better, I think. Now, this is just an interesting discussion point. Now, again, this is just a pure experimental podcast. I'm purely doing it for you guys to get feedback on what you guys think about this new setup. Again, I state, and if I just pull this away a second, I'll just pull it away so you can see the full thing. This is just on my TV. So, you know, I'm just in my bedroom. This is just on my TV. And this is the best way that I can get a visual up, so to speak. Now, like a lot of you that are watching this, I'm a massive podcast fan. I only watch a few fantasy football ones, if I'm honest with you. And I'm fully aware that the best kind of experience for viewers, this is just my opinion, you can disagree if you'd like, is that I think personally that the best experience for viewers, is the way we do it with Jason and Dan, which is you've got the full presentation, you see us on the left hand side, you'll see your chat on the right hand side, and in the middle you've got the teams and the various graphics at what we're looking at. But I think that for the technology that I've got at the moment, which is, as I've just stated, it's just a mobile phone. It is, as I've just shown you, me looking at my TV screen while using a PlayStation 4 to access the internet. Me as a viewer, I personally feel that looking at the screen in front of me, like so, guiding you through what I'm looking at, is more beneficial to the viewer. I alliterate this point. When I do the solo podcasts, where it's just purely me on my own like I am right now, the appreciation that I have for you guys tuning in for, sometimes I've gone on, I think the longest I ever did was, I think, 2 hours and 30 minutes. I cannot remember now. It was just insane. And there were some people that had joined me for that amount of time, and I cannot thank you enough for that support. It baffles me that you guys watch that. And I'm fully aware that when I personally re-watch for my own research purposes only, that the people that watch podcasts usually are invested in the individual themselves and want to go on that, as Brett Mollison, as I steal Brett Mollison's quote, going on that emotional roller coaster of the effect that mine and Dan and Jason's Cash Mini League has an effect on us. But this season, since moving over to YouTube and genuinely doing this for the sake of, this wasn't a narcissistic approach. It was just purely for the fact that when, I don't want to go on a history lesson again, but when me and Dan were doing this for our private Facebook group, which was just purely for the guys in our mini league, we were putting so much time and effort into doing the videos that we were getting nothing back from our, I shouldn't be saying this, but we weren't getting much feedback from anybody in our mini league whatsoever. It was like we were spending 40 minutes to an hour recording a podcast, and we put it up, and we literally had no feedback whatsoever. And it was just getting to the point of where me and Dan were just getting quite frustrated, and we were throwing up ideas about what we want to do, taking it forward, and maybe getting to a bigger audience that may appreciate what we do. And then Jason jumped on board and said, guys, I really, really love what you do on the podcasts, and I think I can help you. And we were like, wow, okay, cool. How are you going to help us? And we found out that, now nobody will know this, but Jason's actually a bit of a YouTube, I wouldn't go as far as to say a YouTube celebrity, but certainly his channel that he created, I think, please don't quote me on this, but I think it was about 10 years ago. He started up a computer game channel, and there was a particular video he did which got, again, don't quote me on this, it was like something like 280,000 views. Now, I'm fully aware on the grand scheme of things that's nothing, but he has something like 14,000 subscribers. But again, this is purely for a computer game. I have no idea what the computer game is, but he was playing that, and he had 14,000 subscribers as he took through, as you all know, a guidance through the particular game that he was playing. So he jumped on board, he helped us with the YouTube, and now we're at a stage where, you know, he's brought up this fantastic presentation, and I genuinely believe, and I'm not blowing smoke up his backside, but do you know what? Yeah, I am going to blow smoke up his backside. I honestly think that Jason's created probably the best interface for most of the FPL channels that I've watched or regularly watch. There are certain ones which I think are absolutely atrocious. There are ones which I believe need to improve, but it's good enough for what it is. And there are ones which are pretty much the basic standards of what they need to do. But for me personally, I feel the need, out of respect to you guys, to somehow make my solo podcast a bit more personal to you. So rather than me just doing what I'm doing now, which is, oh yeah, I've got, of course, I've got the team up, which I can't even pronounce the name, but you can see it live now. This Mirza Krija from Norway, you don't have a clue what I'm looking at. And it's one of those where if I'm a viewer, I'm kind of like, but I want to see their team. And as me and Dan state all the time, when you actually see something on screen, and I'm going to do it again, I'm going to keep switching. When you see it on screen, it's like, now it's become real. Now I know what Steve-O's looking at. We're not suggesting for 1 minute these people are making it up. We're not suggesting for 1 minute that Steve-O's coming out with absolute nonsense. But when you have a screen up like that, it just makes it so much more real and personal. And of course, when we look at, people's teams, I mean, let's just bring up a person that's in the chat right now. Now, I'm going to deliberately go to FPL Boona right now. So as you can see, even now, you can follow exactly what I'm doing. So FPL Boona, he's 11th in our mini league at the moment. And at the moment, oh God. He's on 46 points with a free hit. Oh, God. Ashley Young. Ouch. Obviously, Ashley Young, last night sent off. So straight away, you can see what I'm looking at. So if I was to do this, just quickly switch it around. So he had Foster in goal, 6 points. 6 points in total. I know for a fact that he had a load of points last night. Yeah, he had 2 save points last night. But as you can see straight away, you're not looking at anything that I'm looking at. And it's kind of like, yeah, but it's just a bloke on the screen. I'm not really, even though I'm invested in Steve-O as a person, I know exactly who he is. I know exactly what he's kind of looking at. For other people, they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue what I'm looking at. So when I switch it around like this, there we are. You can see straight away. Now, I'm fully aware that the camera angle may not be that great. I fully appreciate that. And I'm sure that with more experience doing it this way, I can adjust it to the point of where it's like, now. But I think, give or take, this is pretty much as good as it's going to get, to be fair. But, yeah, we'll just quickly look at FPL Boona's team. So he's on 46 points, I've just stated, with a free hit chip. He's got the standards, David Luiz, Schlupp, Sterling captain tonight. That's going to be a bit, I think, to be fair, Boona, I think that's going to pay off big time. That's just my opinion, but I can see Sterling probably coming in. I'd like to think with a double-digit haul. David Silva there, your differential. See him doing all right tonight. I reckon he'll probably get a minimum of an assist tonight. Higuain, the other one. That's going to be the one. Of course, Aguero didn't play tonight. Have you got anybody on the bench? Oh, no, there's nobody on the bench that's going to wreck you. So to be fair, Boona, barring Ashley Young, you're kind of in the same boat as the majority of us, to be fair. I don't think you should be worrying at all. In fact, again, it's that classic thing of hindsight. Unless your people like, and we'll bring him up now, and this is the thing, again, the best thing about doing this interactively is that you can see exactly what we're doing. Unless you're people like John Harris, who's, let's be honest here, he's having a storm of a season, and he's got 86 points, and he's 56th in the world, and he's got a team like this, who admittedly he's played his bench boost, but, it's the real major differentials in the Van Aanholt of this world, and possibly Hudson-Odoi, possibly, but it's just one of those particular game weeks where all the standard picks that you'd expect to do really well just haven't. But I'm going to quickly just go back full circle, and I apologise this being a bit all over the place at the moment. I've been completely FPL Boona, your comment kind of took me aback, and I wanted to address that because I think it was important. But just to quickly look at the Manager of the Month award, I don't want to keep going on about it, but yeah, we're doing the Manager of the Month award. You can win an exclusive Elite FPL mug, which Jason makes, And at the moment, Daniel Ash looks like he's going to win it. He's got some heavy, hard competition from Gareth Edser, Mirza Kreiser, John Hatcher. But look at that. Matt Thompson there. You know, I mean, look at these scores here for the manager, for the March Elite FPL Podcast League. This is just March. So Matt Thompson there with 80 points. John Harris, as we just mentioned, 86. Gareth Edser, 82. Now, I'm fully aware people like FPL Booner, people even like myself, are like, oh God, these players, you know, how have they got 80 points? This is absolutely crazy. But if you're as a particular host of a very large podcast says, us dullards, unfortunately, we are going to go for, and let's bring up my team pretty much, we are going to pretty much have that team. That's the dullard team. In fact, Jason brought it up in a previous podcast where a Reddit article mentioned the fact that these are pretty much all the players that you're going to have. And to be honest with you, I think it was 9 out of the 11 that it mentioned. So that was pretty much your bog standard team. Lindelof, David Luiz, Schlupp, Pogba, Sterling, Hazard. And I can't remember who the other midfielder was, but it was another midfielder, Rashford, Aguero and Jimenez up front. So yeah, I'm not feeling too bad. I've got more points than you, Boone. Well, 10 points more, to be fair. 59 points, but it's nothing major. But I'll just quickly go through the standings as it is in our FPL mini league. So like I said, John Harris top at the moment, 86 points. Daniel Ash there, 63 points. Fourth comes out. Now I'll just quickly look at Jack Gleason's team because I know he was live in chat a minute ago. Whether he's still there now, I don't know. But 52 points at the moment. And look at that. Sane should start tonight. Sane should start. In fact, Brett Mollison has just said there could be some big scores tonight. I completely agree with you. I mean, look at Jack's team for crying out loud. You know, you got Sterling, Sane. I'd like to think will play tonight. I'd like to think. FPL Queen they're mentioning she got 76 points so far. Absolutely phenomenal. I think anybody that's got 65 plus points are doing really well this game week. That's just my opinion. If you're in the high 70s like FPL Queen or even up to the high 80s like John Harris and company, my goodness, you're doing really well this game week. But yeah, Jack Gleason there. Thankfully no one on his bench has done anything. Although Rondon's going to come on for Felipe Anderson. But yeah, I'd like to think Sane's going to start. And yeah, Pereira coming in for him there. Robertson, of course. Who's he got left? So Edison in goal. Wan-Bissaka left. Sterling captain. Sane. I mean, these people that have captained Sterling, they could really, really tank it up the league. And it's one of those where tonight could be actually where everybody should have captained Sterling. You know, that hindsight. So I'm going to quickly look at, because she's in chat, FPL Queen, 76 points. Played the free hit. Here we go. So Kepa in goal. Excellent choice there, as you'd expect. Laporte, Azpilicueta. Very good. Nice, lovely differential there. Smalling, another differential. Didn't pay off. He got that own goal as well. I wonder how many points that actually means that you miss out on last night. I wonder. I've clicked on the wrong button, of course. It's that one, isn't it? Yeah. So it's that one there. Oh, you get -2. Right, okay. -2. So overall, a whopping 1 point from Thingy. Milivojevic, yeah. Got his penalty the other day. Well done. Hazard, Sterling, of course. Jimenez getting the points last night. Aguero. I can see a Watford player on the bench. And it's only Delafeu. So, oh, Valerie at the end there. Valerie, someone definitely I'm looking at for the double game week. Absolutely. For 4.1 million. Absolute bargain for Valerie there. But just a few more other teams in our podcast. So Kelvin Chow in fourth. Again, only 55 points. 426th in the world. Free hit played. Who's he got left? So it's Ryan, Duffy, Schlupp, Hazard, Sterling captain, Bernardo Silva. That's the key one. Look at that. Bernardo Silva and Harry Kane, of course, playing tonight, who I fear. I really do fear. But it looks like he could have captained the right man. We don't know yet, but could be the one to captain after all. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it a day on that. I think there's not much more I can go with at the moment. I'm going to reiterate this point. Let's go back to my screen. Hello again. I'm going to reiterate this point that there is a chance that myself and Jason will be doing a live stream reactatory podcast to this evening's games after they finished. I reckon I'm going to be home about 10 o'clock this evening at a guess. Now, if Jason's unavailable to do it, because it's a 50-50 chance he may not be able to join me, then if I'm honest with you, I'm going to do it myself because I can. Basically, the reason why I'm able to do all these podcasts and late podcasts, especially, I think we did it on, what was it, Monday evening? We did a late one. It was at 8 p.m. No, Sunday. It was at 8 p.m. on Sunday. It's because I've got a few days off work, so I can. So I'm not back to work till Friday, so I don't need to worry about waking up at a stupid time in the morning. So I can happily do a live reactatory pod now. I am planning, keyword planning, on quite literally trying to avoid the results until I go live. So what will happen is this evening is it will quite simply be me coming on, setting up like this, and I'll be hitting the points button just like so, as I always do, and I'll immediately see what points I've got and I'll know if I've had a good game week or not for tonight. So for example, if I was to come, I don't want to say all this now, but if I was to come home and see that's gone to, like, say 109 points, it's very, very unlikely. In fact, it won't happen. But if that was going to say 109 points, you know, I'd be like, oh my God, what the hell has happened? And then all I do is I'll just be scrolling down and then bang, and you will just see my live reaction to what the hell has happened tonight. Now, I alliterate this point. I have done really, really well regarding predictions for this particular game week. Of the 12 fixtures so far, I've got 9 outcomes right. And I've had 3 games bang on results, and I've had 4 games kind of near enough the mark. Tonight, I think it's going to be quite high scoring. I've gone with 3 clean sheets to the home teams as well. So Chelsea to win 4-0, just to alliterate this point. Chelsea to win 4-0, Man City to win 5-0, and Spurs to win 2-0. Take that with a pinch of salt, you know, but I don't advocate betting, but, you know, maybe I should put on a fun bet. You know, maybe I should actually go with, I don't bet. I never bet because it never comes through. However, if I do the old, you know, predictions with Jason and Dan, it seems to do pretty well. And we will find out next year when the 3 of us enter the Super Brew predictor game how well we do, because I don't want to keep going on about this, but I know for a fact that myself and Dan would be doing so well in that game, and we get money for it and it's free, and we never did it. Genuinely gutted about that, but whatever. Point withstanding is that I may do a bit of a fun bet, so I'm going to end it there. You can all get on with your day. But in all seriousness, I really, really appreciate you guys joining me for this experimental solo podcast. the most important thing for myself, Dan and Jason, well, mainly me, because obviously it's me that's doing this, but mainly for me, is that I need your feedback in the comment section below. Now, obviously I've seen the few pop-up comments and I've kind of reacted to them. The main one that I reacted to was, of course, FPL Booner's shock comment. It's not a clickbait there. It's just a surprising comment for myself. I need your guys' feedback to tell me how you felt this particular experimental podcast went, with the fact that I could switch screens like so, and I'll bring up something that's of interest. So, oh, you get to see my blank game week team now. Here we go. How's my blank game week team looking at the moment? And there it is. If you want to copy it, which you don't want to do, you don't want to be copying that, but that's my blank game week team at the moment. There's my subs, all that malarkey. Haven't done any transfers, nothing like that. I'm saving it all. But that's my team at the moment. I've got Aguero as captain. I wonder who's going to fall for that when they watch this. Aguero's not playing the blank, really. So, no, but in all seriousness, that's what it's going to be like tonight. It's going to be me switching back and forth from the screen. I really, really appreciate... I like to see the screen as you talk about the teams. Yeah, yes. Sorry, Brett Mollison there has just made the point that he likes to see the teams as I talk through it. I completely agree. I think... If I'll ask FPL Booner, if you're still watching live or when you watch on the replay, if you could either privately message, well, either myself, the Elite FPL Twitter / Instagram, or even in the comment section below, if you want to make it public, of course. If you don't, you don't. That's perfectly cool, but there's nothing controversial that you said. It's just an opinion. It's a very interesting opinion. If you want to just kind of elaborate on what you mean, but I think that the overwhelming thought process and opinion on what people think on this is that, yeah, sorry, this is the thing. Dan made this point that when you do a live stream podcast, as the comments get put up, you get distracted. And I'm just going to read out Daily Llamas because it's just made me chuckle. Daily Llamas says that he doesn't think I could handle a PC as I handle a PS4 too well. Very true. It's going to be interesting actually when I do get a laptop, how it all works, but we don't need to talk about that yet. So yeah, if you have any feedback whatsoever about this particular experimental podcast, please leave a thought or the feedback in the comment section below. We read every single one of them. We reply to every single one of them. The feedback really... I mean, this is a prime example of what we mean about acting on feedback. You know, as much support as we get given, well, I get given regarding the solo podcasts, you know, we do take on board the constructive criticism regarding the fact that we need a screen up, we need something to look at, and based on just the chat comments that I've seen so far, it appears that we're on to a winner here. Now, I'm fully aware, I'm going to make this point again, as we pull away, oh, I'm doing the wrong thing. Oh God, that's a bit of a live problem. So, as we pull away, as you can see, it's just my TV screen, that's all it is. My mobile phone, as ever, is on a stand. But yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is at the moment. And as I keep saying, I can adjust the camera angles and everything to make it a more better experience. Now for me, even for me personally as a viewer, I'm going to be looking at this thinking, oh wow, that's made it so much better. Oh, I need to change up a bit here and there. But it's more important feedback from you guys. That's the key to this. It's the feedback from you guys that we want to hear from, because you are our audience. And we respect the fact that you take your time out to watch us live, especially. And even people on the replay that watch the videos, of course, we respect the fact that you take your time out to watch that. But the guys in chat that sit through this, it's incredible. Guys like Brett Mollison and Matt Thompson that live in Australia and tune in every single time live stream is just, it's, well, you can see me smiling. It's amazing. I can't believe it. But yeah, I don't know why I just went quiet there. Wow. Gonzalo Campos has just messaged saying, "Hey, here from Miami." Whoa, that's crazy. I don't recognise the name, so if you're tuning in thinking, who the hell is this bloke? Then Norway, Vince. Wow. Wow. It's amazing. Back to the comment made by Gonzalo there. If you're wondering who the hell or why am I watching this, this is just purely an experimental. I watch you all the time, but not live. Oh, wow. Okay, so Gonzalo's just said that he watches us all the time. That's fantastic. Thank you. But not live, just predominantly on predominantly on the replay. Fantastic. Yeah, I've completely taken out the moment there. So, yeah. I'm going to leave it there. I'd like to say that Jason's going to join me tonight. I'd like to think that, but it's going to be 10 p.m. this evening. Again, it all depends on when I get back home, but 10 p.m. this evening, definitely me. But again, the exciting news is that you get to see that screen. That's the key. That's what's going to be different about tonight. You get to see that screen there. And me waffling on. But it's definitely going to be me tonight. It potentially could be Jason, I don't know, but you're gonna have the full. If Jason's with us, you're gonna have the full presentation. That's the best thing about it. But if he's not with me, it's gonna be myself. And as I stated, I am going to try and avoid anything about tonight, which I personally think is gonna be one of those where it's like, this is a key part of the double game week, certainly from a differential point of view. So I think with these solo podcasts, I think personally, even when I watch it live, and I know this is going to sound really, really weird, but even me watching it, I get really invested in what I'm doing because I'm invested in what's going on. I know that sounds absolutely crazy because I'm watching myself, but it's just, it's even when I saw Dan's Free Hit podcast, I was just invested because obviously he's a very good friend of mine, but because you're being taken along the journey with him, it doesn't matter whether you've got the screen presentation up like that. It doesn't matter. If you're invested in the person, you want to see their journey. It doesn't matter how you watch the journey. You just want to hear their thought processes. So, and I find the best thing about, again, this is so self-absorbed and so narcissistic, but a lot of the feedback that I get is it is literally the live reaction to not knowing what has happened and just seeing the fact that, oh, Aguero isn't starting, even though we all know this. But for example, tonight, imagine if Hudson-Odoi gets a goal and an assist and Hazard does absolutely nothing and Higuain does absolutely nothing. I'm going to be absolutely going hysterical. It's going to be absolutely mental. But yeah, I've got a lot of points to catch up on Jason. In fact, just quickly, I don't want to really be doing this now because I'm coming to the end of it and I really should be finishing. But the reality is that Jason he's still a long way off. I've caught him up by, I think, 12 points if my maths is correct. But it's one of those where the only way I could catch him is if Hudson-Odoi does something tonight, but I just doubt it. What's going to be more interesting for me is going to be this particular blank game week and the double game week coming up. In fact, I was doing some research, funnily enough, on the double game week coming up. God, those fixtures are those fixtures are terrible. I was looking through them and I was just like, oh God. But again, we're going to go for all that on a different podcast. But yeah, right. I'm going. Let's end it there. Let's end it there, everybody. So, if you enjoyed what you have seen on this experimental podcast, admittedly, it is for the hardcore elite FPL audience only. Most importantly, it's the feedback that we or I require. Even though the majority of you that have joined me live, and again, thank you so much for taking the time out to join me live this afternoon, or whatever time it is, whatever time it is, wherever you're from, I really appreciate you taking your time out to watch. The feedback seems really, really positive. I think that tonight's going to be the first, well, it will be, it'll be the first time, because I really don't think Jason's going to be able to join me because it is very late at night and he does have a daughter to look after and he does have work as well. But point withstanding is that it's probably going to be me tonight. It's going to be this exact setup, but again, it's going to be the screen in front of you as you've been experiencing with me. If, as ever, another thing I forgot to say, so at the end of the podcast that we did regarding reviewing what had happened so far, I sent out I didn't send out, I asked for people to hit the subscribe button to help us get to 350 subscribers, because we were six away, and we know for fact that a lot of people that watch this live haven't actually subscribed to our channel, even though they or you keep coming back. You haven't hit the subscribe button, which I find absolutely bizarre. But the good news is that we're one subscriber away from hitting 350. So I'm wondering if we can get to 350 tonight. That'd be amazing. So if you've enjoyed what's happened here and you haven't subscribed, this is the new future of the Elite FPL podcast, especially the solo ones. And in fact, the best thing is I can do, I can't do it this season, of course, but I can do free hit live podcasts. I probably may even do a wildcard draft podcast. That'll be fun. That'll be interesting to do. And you'll be able to see it on screen. So yeah, as ever, thank you so much for joining me. This has been the longest outro ever. But hit the like button if you've enjoyed it. Really appreciate the support. And yeah, we will. I'd like to think Jason will join me, but definitely I will see you tonight, 10 p.m. UK time, for a live reaction to these games that are happening tonight. Be interested to hear in the comment section actually what you think the scores are going to be for tonight, because as I stated, I'm doing really well. So those matches there, they're the ones that are going to be key tonight, and I'm hopefully not going to have a clue what has happened. Cheers guys, thank you so much for supporting me, and I will see you tonight. Take it easy.